there's an account out there about estranged parents and their grief and that sort of thing. And that's what this comment is referring to. I really wish that there was a positive, a good account out there that does help parents who are legitimately estranged. And what I mean by legitimately estranged, I mean the parents out there who are having gaps in their relationships with their children because they passed on trauma. The people who ended up raising their children either with an ex who's a narcissist or within the narcissistic family system because they didn't go no contact when the children were younger and lose their children to that system for a period of time. I wish there was something out there for parents like that. I deal with clients like that in therapy. I had periods of time where my children weren't talking to me because there were things that I did in passing down my trauma that were simply not okay. And we had to work through our relationships. And I'm in Florida right now visiting my kids and our relationships repaired. And I'm sure there'll be times where we have our ups and downs, but they were raised with love, not abuse, and love wins. But the account that you tagged me on, it just doubles down and gives a place for abusive parents to continue holding hard to this idea that they've done nothing wrong and they don't know what they did and not wanting to take ownership. And the language that's being used, that's not providing a constructive space to help somebody get through the grieving process of being estranged from their child, learn how to love them from a distance, and give them tools of good language when they are allowed to reconnect that actually results in a stronger relationship, which is what I've lived through and I've seen other, mostly my clients, be able to establish. In this thing, I think she said like third stage of grief or something in the video, and I don't want to throw anybody over there, and she's only got like, I don't know, 12 or 1,300 followers. So I'm not worried about who sees her stuff. I'm just concerned that parents who really need support and deserve it will be attracted to something like that because they're hurting, right? And so they might be misguided or taken advantage of, and their pain may be leveraged instead of actually giving them constructive tools. But it said, oh, you reached out to your children and you tried to do everything that you could. You even shared with them what you learned in therapy. And when I saw that, I was like, no, this isn't about sharing with them what you learned in therapy. This is about asking them what you can do to help repair the relationship. This isn't about what you have learned. It's about the tools that you should be using to repair the relationship. Things like being willing to listen with an open mind and providing validation and apologies that aren't attached to your past experiences, which are really irrelevant when it comes to what trauma you pass down to your children is. It doesn't matter where it comes from. I don't say to my kids, I'm sorry, I did that because I learned that. I say, I'm sorry, I did that because I didn't go to therapy and get the help that I needed. I didn't recognize what I was doing at the time, and I understand that hurt you, and I'm so sorry, and I will not do that again. And the other thing about that platform that is a gigantic red flag, and the total loss of, taking any sort of accountability or responsibility, is calling people going no contact or becoming estranged a trend. That's not a trend. People walking away from abuse and breaking the cycles of abuse, that's not a trend. It just so happens that we live in a very connective age right now where people have permission to live better lives and seek healing and break cycles of abuse. So there's support and awareness out there. We are learning to do better, and we are providing support instead of judgment.